This video summarises Medway's Safeguarding Children's Partnerships Threshold Guidance. For more information, visit www.medwayscp.org.uk. This guidance has been developed to encourage our approach to working with children and their families that ensure they receive the right support at the right time and for the right duration. In Medway, we aim to work collaboratively and transparently with families. We achieve this by using the Signs of Safety approach. Our 7 principles of practice are: 1. Early help is everyone's responsibility. 2. We listen to the children, young people and families and ensure their voice is heard. 3. We will keep the children and young people at the centre of the work with families. 4. We will ensure the welfare of children and young people is the main priority. 5. Partners will work effectively together in strong collaboration and cooperation. 6. Services will be delivered as early as possible to meet the emerging needs and prevent needs escalating. 7. We will deliver a culture of shared responsibility, challenge and escalation. The level of support can change in line with the level of need. In Medway, we recognise that children's needs are not static and that an individual response is required that works alongside families. The Medway continuum of need illustrates the varying levels of needs a child may be experiencing at different times. Now, let's take a closer look at Medway's threshold for each level of need. Level 1. Universal. No additional needs. Children with no additional needs are children whose health and developmental needs will be met by good parental care and the universal services that are available to all children. Universal services are available to all Medway children and families, whatever the level of concern, and most children will be kept safe from harm and able to reach their full potential, with the support from services such as schools, nurseries, childminders, youth projects, police, midwives, health visitors, GPs, job centres, libraries, housing, voluntary and community groups and organisations. Principle of practice 1 and 6 are especially important to keep families stable. Early health is everyone's responsibility, and services will be delivered as early as possible to meet emerging needs and prevent needs escalating. Spotting signs of increased need early and ensuring all universal service providers understand their responsibilities is crucial to creating positive outcomes for children. Level 2. Early help, additional needs. Children with additional needs are children who require support above that provided by universal services to ensure that their education, health, social and developmental needs are being met. They may be vulnerable and showing early signs of abuse and/or neglect, but often their needs are not clear, not known, or not being met.
Additional support may be provided by a single agency or multiple agencies working together, with a lead practitioner coordinating the work.
This kind of support is described as early help or early intervention, as it seeks to provide help and support to children, young people, and their families in the early stages when concerns are identified, and to avoid these concerns escalating. However, the level of need or risk is not such that involvement by statutory children's social care service is required. For example, with parents who may be experiencing issues that impact upon their ability to parent, you should consider using assessment tools and processes to support them, such as
The Early Help Intervention Plan,
the Graded Care Profile, the Exploitation Toolkit, and the DASH.
The Early Help Intervention Plan
is the process for supporting children, young people and families with additional needs through early identification, swift intervention, and a planned coordinated response. It is used across the levels of need, including special education needs and disability.
The Early Help Intervention Plan
Can be used by all agencies, including health, schools, academies, early years settings, and colleges, as part of a graduated response to meet the needs of children and young people to record, monitor, and evaluate support, intervention, and progress against outcomes set.
The Early Help Intervention Plan
aims to identify the support needed to empower children, young people, and their families, and provide a timely, seamless service if needs escalate.
The Early Help Intervention Plan
Supports families through early help to escalating complex needs and urgent needs that require statutory response from children's social care.
The Early Help Intervention Plan
Can then be used as supporting evidence to inform a statutory assessment of education, health and care needs if this is required in the future. The Graded Care Profile. The Graded Care Profile, GCP2, is used in Medway to support professionals measure the quality of care a child receives. It is used in cases where neglect is known or suspected. The tool allows parents and professionals to identify specific areas of concern or in need of improvement. The completed GCP2 should be submitted to support any referrals to Children's Services. Exploitation Toolkits. The aim of the tools are to improve how Kent and Medway disrupt exploitation and to help agencies work together to create safety and reduce harm. The identification tool is designed to support professional judgment for those professionals who do not normally complete social care assessments. The second tool, Assessment and Planning, is an extension of the identification tool, as well as identifying if a child or young person is being exploited. It helps professionals to draw out the analysis, identify the most appropriate interventions, and formulate a plan which reduces harm in the contexts it's occurring. The completed toolkit should be submitted to support any referrals to Children's Services. The DASH risk assessment is a tool that can be used by agencies when identifying and assessing victims of domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, and honour-based violence. A contact via first response to Family Solutions may be necessary if a range of additional needs that require a multi-agency response are identified. Level 3. Social Care, Complex Multiple Needs. Children with complex multiple needs require specialist services in order to achieve or maintain a satisfactory level of health or development, or to prevent significant impairment of their health and development and/or who are disabled. In addition, for some children where there is reasonable cause to suspect they are suffering or are likely to suffer significant harm, then a Children and Families assessment, led by a qualified social worker, will be undertaken. If the conclusion of the assessment by the social worker is that continued social care involvement is required to prevent impairment of the child's health or development, a Child in Need Section 17 plan setting out the contribution of all agencies to meeting the child's needs will be prepared and implemented, with contributions and agreement from the relevant agencies. If the suspicion of significant harm is substantiated and is assessed as likely to continue, a multi-agency Initial Child Protection Conference, Section 47, will consider what further action is required to protect the child. This level also includes children in specialised services in residential, day patient or outpatient settings, for children and adolescents with severe and/or complex health problems, and children who are remanded into custody. Transition between levels. When deciding the level of need, remember that children and families do not always conform to one level at any given time. For some, a child or young person will go through a number of transition points on their journey to having their needs met. A child, for example, whose need does not respond to services provided under Level 1 may need to receive a more coordinated response within Level 2. Similarly, a child in Level 2 whose circumstances and situation does not improve sufficiently may need to receive specialist assessment and support provided at Level 3. It is acknowledged that children may move from one level of need to another, and that agencies, including universal services, may offer support at more than one level. You'll find the MSCP Procedure Manual useful for resources and further guidance. It's important to remember that the threshold guidance is not a substitute for professional judgment or interagency consultation. The context of concerns is vitally important. Most conversations, observations, and interactions will start with the child and their family because a concern or an issue has arisen, which may cause professional anxiety or lead to uncertainty about the welfare of the child. Working with the child and their family to address worries as they arise, rather than waiting for concerns to escalate, is appropriate for the majority of children and can ensure much needed consistency for a family. Providing encouragement to families, building on their strengths and sharing information with or about the family to other services that might help are all key ingredients to promoting the children's well-being. If in any doubt, contact the designated member of staff in your organisation. Where you are becoming more concerned about a child, ensure you seek safeguarding supervision or have a conversation as soon as possible with your supervisor, line manager, or designated safeguarding lead to share what your concerns are and agree what needs to happen to meet the child's needs and reduce any risks to their safety. First response. For the single point of access, the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, MASH, is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Thursday and 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. on a Friday, and can be contacted via the portal, or for immediate safeguarding concerns, call 01634 334466. The out-of-hours emergency duty team are available from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. Monday to Friday and offers 24-hour support at the weekends. They can be contacted on 03000 419 191. There are two numbers for Kent Police, 101 for non-emergency and 999 for emergency. Threshold training is delivered in 3 parts. Part 1 is this introductory threshold guidance video for all professionals in Medway. Part 2 is a 2-hour training session on understanding and applying thresholds in Medway. Part 3 is the yearly refresher threshold training. To book on Part 2 or Part 3, please complete an application form from the MSCP website. Accessing support. In Medway, we have one front door to access support for children, young people and families in levels 2 and 3 of need. All contacts, including contacts requesting early help support from Family Solutions, must be made by professionals via the online portal into the first response service within the Children's Services, using a multi-agency contact and referral form. The contact and referral form can be found here. However, if you have an immediate safeguarding concern, please contact Children's Services First Response Service on 01634 334466. For concerns out of hours, the contact number is 03000 419 191. You should discuss your concerns with the child or young person's parents or carers and seek their consent to make contact and referral, unless you have reasonable cause to believe that to do so would place the child at risk of significant harm. For more information, visit www.medwayscp.org.uk.